First, let me apologize for being a bit late, but I've come straight from the airport. My visit is part of a set of BJP workers coming from different parts of the country to campaign in Kerala. I've been here since yesterday, possibly covered about 7 constituencies. I can give a sum up of my campaign, but essentially I see this selection in Kerala for the assembly as one in which the voters are seeing that there is a possibility outside of UDF and LDF. Kerala has had this practice of electing LDF once, UDF the next time, an alliance of the left or the alliance of so-called centrist parties which are led by the Congress. But I find that there are now a lot of thought in the voters' mind that there is a possible alternative for parties which can be considered for forming the government in Kerala. An alternative which is emerging is the emerging alliance of NDA led by the BJP. So when I did go for the campaign, I've been here before for campaigns, whether it is for Lok Sabha election context or even before that in the assembly. You can see that the evolving nature of political discourse, and therefore this time my campaign, I could feel palpably the consideration that enough is enough of the corruption, the competitive spirit with which corruption happens between LDF and UDF, the competitive spirit with which appeasement happens between the UDF and LDF. One may choose the route of a Muslim League, another may choose the route of a SDPI, but eventually both of them are fairly clear that they will only go that far and not anything beyond in containing violence and lawlessness which arises out of the fundamentalist policies and fundamentalist conduct in Kerala. So violence and appeasement seem to have had a very convenient give and take relationship, a concoction which has helped both the governing parties of Kerala over the decades of pacify, accommodate, if anything, energize. So this, I think people are seeing, is getting a bit too far with no answers for those who are neither with the left nor with the UDF. They may be with BJP, they may not be with BJP. But clearly, the line is divided based on the sympathy, membership, and allegiance to either the LDF or the UDF. Governance is never driven by these considerations alone. When a party gets elected to form the government, after all, I remember being periodically asked, how about those who probably did not vote for you? Prime Minister Modi is very clear, and I've heard him, many of us do speak about it. Even states which don't have a representative from BJP or its alliance parties, governance doesn't suffer from the center. Attention that is required doesn't suffer from the center. whatever has to be done in order that the development works get done, keeps going, is done without any thinking twice or hesitation or anything of that kind. Whereas in Kerala, it need not be argued at all if somebody tells you that when UDF is in power, you know who gets the support, and when LDF is in power, who gets the support. When I say support, it goes down to the level of the villages, where even women can't have the benefits which are given by the union government, can't have the benefits of welfare schemes like Kudumbashri unless your allegiance are stated. That's how parochial the two parties have become in governance. You vote for me, you get my benefits. My is not my party, but even if it's government benefit. And that is where today the people of Kerala realized it's just getting a bit too far. We saw it happening in Bengal when the Marxist government over the decades were thrown out by a very well organized campaign by Mamata Banerjee at that time. People were really happy, saying, oh, this 30 years of Marxist violence and Marxist negligence and Marxist preferential treatment will now get over. But no, Mamata Banerjee imitated them because her interest was to keep in power. Here the arrangement is mutually convenient arrangement where yes, you do, in your time you do it, next time when I come I will do it. And in between, a large segment of the population in Kerala is ignored, if anything, suffers violence and victimization. And it is in this context, therefore, I find that this election is going to be something in which the alternative is getting recognized, alternative that is emerging will be recognized by the people, and BJP's effort will be to make all possible efforts to get closer to the people and tell them what we have. And that is why the Prime Minister had said we envisage development and growth in Kerala. He used the acronym FAST. I've been explaining this. F standing for fishermen, fisheries and fertilizer. A standing for agriculture and Ayurveda. S standing for skill and social justice. And T standing for tourism and technology. These are the areas in which we from the BJP and the NDA alliance will give maximum attention and ensure that every Kerala citizen benefits from such focus for its development. So as an opening statement, I will say this much. Of course, as whoever is going to conduct the press conference, I am willing to answer. Thank you.
Questions, please.
You said like you have campaigned in 7 districts almost, and you are from nearby Tamil Nadu also. How do you feel the pulse of Kerala in the last leg of campaigning? With the last following in campaigning will translate to votes?
Well, any party will have to make its efforts to make sure that its campaign translates into votes. It will have to do that last mile connectivity. It will have to make sure at the booth level the workers are there, they are able to translate the campaign into. That will be an effort.
Realistically, how many seats does the BJP is expecting this elections?
Actually, I don't think it's for me to say. The state party is here, the Prabhari is here, they'll do that post 5 o'clock today, I suppose.
Also, Kerala CM has, the Kerala government has ordered a judicial probe against the Central Investigation Agency that falls under your purview in the ministry. So how do you view it?
What falls under me?
Enforcement Directorate. Also.
Right. So this judicial inquiry is against the Enforcement Directorate only?
Yeah, including ED, the CM Pinarayi Vijayan has ordered the judicial probe. So how do you view it?
Well, if I think I've heard this being said, that these investigative agencies are acting as political vendetta. If political vendetta it is, to prove that you don't unleash your own police to say, come on, I investigate you. You stand before it and say, sorry, this is political vendetta because A, B, C. Absolute prima facie evidence on gold smuggling, prima facie evidence in drug peddling, prima facie evidence in dollar smuggling, and not on the day of model code of conduct, but several months before that onwards the investigation is going on. You all know it. And at what level? At the level of a top officer who sits in the CM's office itself. So what is this vendetta business? If you're clean, prove it. If you're not, then say, sorry, this was absolutely wrong. That's the way to go about it. The person who unleashes his own investigative or state police officers is the one who's frightened of facing the law. The one who's frightened and one who therefore retaliates in not the lawful way, but to show that, look, I will frighten you. But no fright, please. In fact, I understood that in Malayalam there is an expression, and I've been using this extensively. Pishashi Bhadrakali. That's what is happening. Doesn't matter. Investigations will go on. Investigations have happened from before. It has no political connotations. If smuggling has happened and red-handed, people have been caught, and such people who have had patronage from the CM's office earlier, graceful way and more dignified way would be to face the law, rather than say, oh, now look, I will send the judicial. What are you trying to prove? And who's afraid of this? Leftist Marxists are known for these kind of gimmicks. There was a time when Marxists were respected for their simplicity, for their ideological commitment, for their down-to-earth connect with people. Today they are in a different world altogether. It might be a good time of reckoning for the Communist Party in Kerala.
Madam, this is an election time. Sure, you have to address the issue of hike in petrol price.
I think on the hike in petrol price, enough was said. Petrol price is one thing, over and above that is the refining cost, over and above this taxation by center, which is a fixed amount, taxation by states, which is an ad valorem, which increases with every increase in the price of the petrol or any of those crude products. So taxation is not just a central matter. Taxation on fuel is a matter in which both the center and the states have taxation levied on the product. Eventually all of us are talking about the end consumer who ends up paying more, and therefore both the taxing groups, the center and states, will have to talk about it. I've said this several times and I repeat it now.
So will the center promise anything from its behalf on reducing this burden on the end consumer?
No, hold on 1 minute. Why is that question only to the center? Considering the fact that the center has a fixed amount, it doesn't vary, it's not an ad valorem. And that fixed amount is shared between center and the states as per the devolution formula given by the Finance Commission. So even if I collect 100 rupees, you know the proportion which goes off to the states as well. So that is why, without me getting into this, why shouldn't they? I'm not getting into that. The question is end product taxation. To what extent can be done? Is that question which has to be under the consideration for center and states. So it's a very quick one, and don't mind me saying this, it's a lazy question. Oh, then central government, you reduce, set an example, states will do what they want. Setting an example is all right, an easy question to be thrown at my face. But I put the crux of the matter before you. And that's the matter which all of us will have to apply our mind to see what is it about fuel. where both the states and center do have a component? That's the question which all of us will have to think about.
Madam, you can easily say that that's an easy question. But the common people, to whom?
I agree. There's no questioning that. So if you want to have an argument over it, I'll also say yes. Even that is why I use the word Dharma Sankata, because I can be asked this question. I don't know if you ask your state governments, and I'm not getting into that. But as long as you ask me, I will have to tell you the actual truth before it. A quick, easy question to, oh, all right, but what are you doing about it is very well. You have a right to ask question, you can ask. But I will put the context in before you. And the context is this, I recognize, and that's why I use the word Dharma Sankata. I recognize that this end consumer will have to face the taxation coming from both center and the states. I recognize that.
Madam, you told that welfare measures and incentives given by the center are not coming down to the grassroots level to government.
Sorry?
Welfare measures and incentives given by the center are not coming down to the grassroots level. And recently the Prime Minister has also said about some PM Awas Yojana where Kerala is having a healthy approach. As a finance minister, have you any approach to ensure that the states take benefit of this and people at the grassroots level can
Let us understand one thing. When schemes are approved and schemes draw their monies from the approvals obtained by the parliament, the monies are shared. Center gives its component, the state may give its component. But the approval is obtained from the parliament for a particular scheme for which the center gives its component. Therefore, that scheme has to go down to the people in that name only. It can't come to the state and each state then say, no, I am giving 10 paisa out of it or 50 paisa out of it, so I'll change the names. No, sorry. Parliament approval is for a particular named project, named scheme. So I will insist on having the project running it with that name so that people can get their share. That is exactly what I will have to do. Ensure that the project reaches, the scheme reaches, the money reaches the end consumer or the beneficiary. And equally, I'll have to ensure that the name which Parliament approved also goes through.
The Kerala Finance Minister, Thomas Isaac, now and again has came up with after it was KIFBI was raided, Kerala Infrastructure Fund was raided, as alleged that about the masala box, and he also said like the Indian government is replicating the same formula in Delhi. How do you react to it? Is it true?
First of all, I'm sure all of you are aware that KIFBI issue is something which the CAG has spoken about. Leave me. CAG has said that this is improper to create an agency and through which you sort of have your work done, for which then approvals, clearance from the assembly. Why will the CAG comment? Oh, is that what the center doesn't do that? To give a part story, oh, masala bond, I took the permission of RBI. What, is the CAG not aware of all that? In spite of that, why did the CAG comment? And based on the comment, I have also spoken about it. So tell the CAG that they are wrong. So it's all right to constantly give a twist or to partly reveal a story and say, oh, we are all fine, it's only Modi's ministers who are wrong. Sorry, the CAG pointed it out. So I wish there's a bit more, comprehension that you are in a position of defense when it comes to defense, meaning defending your argument when you're talking about KIFBI. Defend gracefully, defend with facts, don't give counter allegation which has absolutely no, I have nothing to do with KIPFI. Have I diverted funds to such an agency? No, on the contrary, this budget had everything brought on to the budget itself. Budget statement includes everything. We brought in great degree of transparency. So it's okay. You can ask the question. Finance Minister Thomas Isaac can raise these kind of issues for political side of things, but he has an answer to give for the CAG's comment. That's a constitutional body. So it's okay. You can go on churning argument after argument, but I'm sorry, the fundamental question remains on the CAG, on the comments made by CAG. And similarly, questions remain on the gold smugglings, questions remain on the dollar and also the drug peddling. Answers don't come. Attempt to deflect is what is happening in Thiruvananthapuram.
Ma'am, from West Bengal, some audio tapes have allegedly come out saying that in the gold smuggling case, huge amounts was paid to Mamata Banerjee's nephew. Would like to have your reaction on that.
Well, that is also one of the cases which has been going on for some time. I may not know the details about the case, but that is also one of those things which, for political convenience, instead of answering the questions which have been on for now 2.5, 3 years, Abhishek Banerjee and his wife, case related to coal and also case related to gold. A lot of similarity you see between Kerala and Bengal in these sort of things. They know the most lubricant business which can give them quick filling of their pockets, gold, coal, So they copy each other's methodology, and therefore the response was also copied. Oh, political vendetta, harassment, I'll investigate in turn. The facts are all out through the media itself. This is something which is going on for some time. They are refusing even to give their comments, but they will throw in public domain such things which can create confusion and mislead people. Investigations happen. Law enforcement agencies do their business. In Modi's government, law enforcement agencies do their business as per law. Unlike the way during UPA, mountainous volumes of corruption happened, but no agency was allowed to investigate. That is why they became caged parrots. They are not today.
One more thing, Congress has an opinion in Kerala about this investigation, because they allege that there is a nexus between the CPM Prime Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan and Prime Minister, because the investigation is going on for months, but no result is happening at all. So what's your
So even that they will say, no, Congress? Did they do anything here when they were in power earlier or now in the assembly as an opposition? Congress has a fixed match here. Congress and LDF are doing a friendly match. They know once they will come, the next time they will come. So it's all right. They can now say, there is an understanding. Congress is the B team of LDF. You can take it from me. Otherwise, Wayanad wouldn't have been Wayanad. Once they will come, the next time the other will come. This is how their politics is. Unfortunate for the people of Kerala. You will get every state government has been told about the aims that they will have to get. They will get it. And in fact, it is only after Modi came that this principle that every state which requires aims will have to be given started. So you can remind us, we will give it. That's no doubt.
Thank you.